I'm delighted to be here again. The last one was on humanity. If you recall, I felt a little indulgent because it's something that's very close to my heart that I wanted to share with you. I'm not sure how useful that was. I hope it was for many of you. So today I'm going to get a bit more business-like. I may not look it, but I'll do my best. So I thought it might be useful to, and I know it's often useful in sort of masterclasses and appearances I make around the world. I'm often asked, what's my business model and how does that work? And some people find that more or less useful. And what I'm going to do with the last one of this series is maybe to look at the word coaching and think about how you see coaching. I think about how you might regard what you're selling as whether it's coaching or not. And we'd perhaps do that in video 10, the last one of this series too. So what is my business model for coaching? Well, you can probably guess already that I'm not a salesman. I don't think perfection is absolutely necessary. I do believe the quality of service is absolutely necessary, and that honesty and trust and the boundaries and all that are important. But for that reason, my business model has been perhaps a bit different from many others, and that's why I wrote books. So 2000 I wrote Me, Myself, My Team, which is this blue one. That one. In 2003 I wrote Performance Coaching, which has done extraordinarily well. I think it's in 5th printing or something now. It's also translated into numerous languages, and as is Me, Myself, My Team, which is Russian and Chinese and Polish and goodness knows what else, Italian I think. And then in 2008 I wrote this one, Self-Coaching Leadership, Simple Steps from Manager to Leader. And also why, with Will Thomas, I've written another book called Performance Coaching Toolkit, which is out in 2010. All of that started because I didn't want, although I'd sold in the past in other jobs and lives, I wanted to put the knowledge out there, and I wanted some of the market, if you wanted to respond to me rather than me selling. So it is, if you like, a sort of coaching philosophy to how I run my business, and it might not suit everybody. What's been useful, of course, in terms of understanding about coaching is that the discipline of being able to write 90,000 words in 5.5 weeks, which is what that took to get the first draft out. It took a bit longer to get it finished, but first draft. It's a great discipline. And another great discipline which you might want to pick up may not be writing books, it might be, is writing papers. I've written, I don't know how many papers, maybe 40 papers around coaching, around the world, different journals and so forth. And the discipline there is very useful. And lastly, but not least, there's phenomenal learning I've had, and you can get this from co-coaching and group work, is the masterclasses. Because, for example, I was in Sydney last year with a tailored group of highly skilled coaches. So it was put out so we'd only get very experienced coaches. Got a room full of very good coaches, a lot of experience in the room, and in any masterclass you get phenomenal feedback because you've got so many pairs of eyes watching, listening, and providing information, and that is a fantastic learning zone for understanding what you do, because you have to talk about what you do as well and give your own take on what you're seeing. You have to listen to the feedback and stuff that you're seeing from other people about what they think you're doing. And there's a great learning in that. And if we can incorporate some of that in our co-coaching work, in our observing working group, that also is phenomenally useful. And that the next step is being able to explain it. The next step, if you like, is being able to express what it is you do and how you do it. So that's underneath the business model, but what am I actually selling? What's out there? What's being marketed? Well, I've got a range of products. So I offer my own coaching. I offer coaches. So we have AMA coaches who all have gone through a very rigorous paper process, and they've been through an assessment centre to get onto the books. And from 2010, April onwards, they'll be offered at 3 different levels. So we have 3 different levels, if you like, 3 different price structures for those coaches. Those coaches are all of them working on a number of bases. one of those is that they work on a day coach basis. So I have a day coach product. So they go into an organisation, they sit in that organisation, and the diary and the people that come to them, okay, within a framework of expectations and boundaries and so forth, go in to see them. If the company doesn't book everybody, they're there for the day, they get paid that rate for the day, and they get capped expenses for that day. A number of AMA coaches have also bought in to the concept of also doing one-to-one coaching, which is where they go in and see someone, it's a higher rate, they get all their expenses for that, but because it's just maybe seeing one or two people, the rate is a higher rate. And a smaller subset of AMA coaches also undertake work by telephone and or email through a product which I call Ask Max, which is I think the world's first e-mentoring product based on a coaching model, but it is mentoring rather than coaching. So we've got coaches going out on different bases. So we've also got me going out. We've got these coaches going out on these different 4 different levels of product, and all of that, if you like, offers a platform for coaching. We also train coaches. So we've got 3 levels of certificated program, 2 at national level, 3 and 5 by independent national bodies. I've also wrote the 2 courses, of course, for Newcastle, the performance coaching course and the advanced coaching diploma at Newcastle as well. So a lot of presence around coaching and developing coaches, but also, of course, what we do is we train in NLP. I do that with Sue Noble. We also train managers to use coaching skills in their style of management, and often do that in a way that helps develop culture change. So a culture change towards a facilitation style, trying to do the same things that you and I do as coaches with people, but trying to do that on a systematic way and vertically integrated as well, with a number of different interventions offered for getting that culture change to stick and not take 6, 7 or 8, 9, 10 years, but actually do it a lot faster than that, 2.5, maybe 3 years to do that. So that, if you like, is my business model. Quite structured. I hope that helps. And next video, if you'll stick with me, I'd like to perhaps make some provocative remarks about coaching and what it is that you might be selling, and maybe thinking about some other ways of doing it.